Look at this crazy. Bexler County Sheriff launches investigation into Florida Governor Ron Desantis for flying migrants to Martha's Vineyard. I mean, I posted about this last week when Gavin Newsom said that this should be considered kidnapping. I mean, it is weird that DeSantis seems to have chartered these flights from Texas to Martha's Vineyard when he's in Florida, but I don't see DeSantis as the kind of guy who's dumb enough to put himself in the kind of situation where he's legally vulnerable. This story by the Texas Tribune saying that these people were promised jobs and housing in Martha's Vineyard and then were quickly sent back after they got there. Let's see what he has to say when asked about these charges against him.
Why are they only now paying attention to 50 people that you sent?
Well, Sean, it's really frustrating because you've been covering this. Millions of people since Biden's been president illegally coming across the southern border. Did they freak out about that? No. You've had migrants die in the Rio Grande. You had 50 die in Texas in a trailer because they were being neglected. Was there a freak out about that? No, there wasn't. You've had criminal aliens get across that southern border and victimize Americans, killing some, raping some. Was there any type of outrage about that? No. And then, of course, we know fentanyl deaths are at an all-time high. Where's that fentanyl coming from? It's coming over the open southern border. It's only when 50 get put into Martha's Vineyard, which wasn't saying they didn't want this. They said they wanted this. They said they were a sanctuary jurisdiction. These were people who were basically destitute and then put in a situation where they could have succeeded, but that was all virtue signaling. And not only did they not welcome them, they deported them the next day with the National Guard. Give me a break.
Yeah, and by the way, just for the record, this was voluntary. All migrants were put up in hotels, given accommodations. They were fed, they were showered, they were offered haircuts and any other services that they were needed, correct?
So he's not really defending the claims made against him as much as bringing up other crimes that were committed by the other side, which 100%, the fact that we know there's been these covert flights where migrants have been put on planes and brought into the States in the middle of the night, off the books and everything. But still, I mean, he's not really shutting down what is coming at him in a strong way, which I was hoping he would be doing a better job of that. Let's see if he gives anything else.
Yeah, not only that, they all signed consent forms to go, and then the vendor that is doing this for Florida provided them with a packet that had a map of Martha's Vineyard. It had the numbers for different services on Martha's Vineyard, and then it had numbers for the overall agencies in Massachusetts that handle things involving immigration and refugees.
All right, if there's a consent form, then that should put an end to all of this, because kidnapping and misleading claims, that all goes right out the window. If these people were knowledgeable of what was going to happen and, willing to go, they're acting like he had them detained and put on this thing.
It's clearly voluntary, and all the other nonsense you're hearing is just not true. And why wouldn't they want to go, given where they were? They were in really, really bad shape, and they got to be cleaned up, everything treated well, and then put in a situation. Because, Sean, there are jobs available in Martha's Vineyard. There is lodging available in Martha's Vineyard. Had they lived up to what they billed themselves at as a sanctuary jurisdiction, they could have absorbed those people without a problem. But here's the thing. They said they didn't have housing. They said they couldn't accommodate. Let's just say that's true for a minute. Well, what does that mean for these poor towns in Texas? What does it mean for these other places across the country that are seeing influx? What does it mean to these small towns that Biden has dumped so many people in? And so I think what we've been able to do is show that this border is a disaster. Biden has failed on this as much or...
Yeah, that is pretty outrageous that for such a liberal town, they couldn't handle 48 migrants being there. They literally sent them back shortly after they got there, which, what does that say about the place? They want a virtue signal and do all that, but they don't want to put their money where their mouth is.